Welcome back to AI-powered mapping for the ArcGIS web developer. Today we're going to code a 3D shadow sampler that you can click to pin, then generate a quick, plain English explanation. Let's get into it. I already have the HTML and CSS in my starter code, so let's get into the JavaScript. First, I'll create a constant from my OpenAI API key. Next, I'll add a tiny helper for grabbing elements by ID. Then I'll grab the scene, the shadow cast component, and the panel. Now I'll bundle my buttons and text areas into a UI object so it's easy to update the panel. Next, I'll set up my state: view, pinned, last, and a busy flag. I'll add nice MS to turn milliseconds into something readable like minutes or hours. Next, I'll add extract text because the responses API can return text in a couple formats. Next, I'll add a little helper called status line. It returns one of two messages depending on whether we're pinned or not, so I don't repeat the same strings all over the file. All right, now for start analysis. Here I'll clear the output, disable explain until we have a sample, set shadow cast to duration mode, and set a date plus a time window. Then I stop and start the analysis so the overlay refreshes and I show a ready message in the panel. Now I'll add client to view. This converts mouse chords to view pixel chords, which is what getDuration needs. Next, I'll add set meta. This updates the top line with lat long, duration, and the window, and stores the data in last. Once we have last, I enable the explain button. Now I'll write sample. It converts the mouse position to XY, calls shadow.getDuration, converts that to a map point for display, then calls setMeta. Now I'll add QHover with request animation frame, so hover sampling stays smooth. All right, time to wire events. Stop panel clicks from bubbling so buttons don't repin the scene. On pointer move, sample only when unpinned. On scene click, set pinned equals true and sample that exact click. On escape, unpin, and the pin button acts like a quick unpin. All right, so now restart calls start analysis. Clear wipes last, clears the output, and disables explain. Explain builds a short prompt from last, calls OpenAI, and prints the result. All right, for our last step, we'll wait for scene.viewOnReady and shadow.componentOnReady, store view equals scene.view, and call start analysis. All right, let's go ahead and test it out. I can hover and the sample line updates with duration. Now I'll click right here to pin it. And now I'll hit the explain last sample and we get a quick summary for that exact spot. And that's it. And just like that, you've got an app that samples shadows anywhere you click and spits out a nice summary for that spot. Stay tuned for more AI plus mapping fun ideas. Happy coding!